Okay, class, just want to go over a few points here about our graphic novel project that we will for sure definitely be jumping full into this week as well. So just some notes and some things that I kind of want to go over. Um, some stuff I expect that you'll have, in your final product of your project and stuff like that, and some other things I want to make sure that you are aware of. And I may I will probably add other videos and other notes and stuff along the way of other things I'll make sure I'll have you do, and other um, deadlines and other things I'm going to have you make sure you include in your graphic novel. So this will be just one of many. So one of the things I just want to talk about in general with your project, whether you do it on Comic Life or if you draw it, or if you even do bit strips or something like that, or Pixton, um, that the things that you do with your images, or the stuff you do with your project and stuff like that. So the graphic novel we read, Fahrenheit 451, it's very visual. So again, whether you draw it or Comic Life it, you want to be able to tell information just by the visuals as well. If you notice that first page of our 451, there's no words. There's no words here at all. It's all visual. It's close-ups, books getting wet with oil, someone lighting a fire, and stuff like that. So there's very little dialogue on that first page. So you need to be able to tell parts of your story by visual elements, visual clues, visual foreshadowing, and stuff like that. So you need to be able to do that. One of the things you want to make sure you do is these stuff in the rectangular boxes is what we call narration boxes. These are times when you just want to tell a little bit of information about what's going on in the world. It's not the character talking, it's just general information you want to present to the reader that's not coming from your character, that's not dialogue or internal thoughts or anything like that. So, for example, here it's just kind of like the author talking, but in your graphic novel it could be, you might put something up here like it was 2050, it was 8 o'clock in the morning in Manhattan, New York, that type of stuff. Sometimes when you just need to give information, or you need to tell the reader a transition of time, or when it is in the morning or night, or if it's some useful bit of information that you just need to give out to the reader rather than coming from one of your characters. These are narration boxes. So you'll use narration boxes. Usually the rectangle things like that, or sometimes they're just written in just like that as well. Again, look at Fahrenheit 451 for all the things of the stuff that you should include. So again, here's the narration boxes. He walked out of the fire station toward the subway whistling. He left the escalator into the night air. So these are narration boxes right here. That's just telling the reader generally, moving the story along and stuff like that. So again, we get lots of visuals, but you need to include visual boxes or narration boxes in your story. And then of course you need to include dialogue. Montag, our main character here, and here's Clarissa, and here's them talking. So the little balloon with the straight line coming from where they're talking and stuff like that, that's the dialogue balloons. So you need to have the dialogue balloons, you need to have the narration boxes, and then you also need to have the internal thoughts, which I'm not sure if Fahrenheit 451 really has all that many internal dialogue boxes, but they're usually a little bit different, where dialogue boxes are a straight line, narration, or the dialogue boxes are just the straight lines. They look like this, where it says Mildred here. Internal thoughts are the same thing. They'll look like the same thing, but they'll have the little circles that'll come towards the end there. I don't have an example of that right now, but it's the one that has the little circles towards it. And those would be the internal thoughts. So you need narration boxes like here, you need dialogue boxes, and then you need internal thoughts sometimes, which look just like dialogue boxes, but instead of having a straight line, they just have the little circles leading up to it, which implies internal thoughts. And then you need sound effects as well. You'll see in the background here the jets are flying overhead, and then there's the room rush and the click clank. And so you need to add stuff like that sometimes, to give the reader a sense of being real, that you're thinking about what's in the story and stuff like that. There is sound effects going on in the background. So you also need to include sound effects. So four things: the narration boxes, the dialogue box, the sound effects in the background, and then you also need to include the internal thoughts, which look just like the dialogue box, except for they have the little circles coming towards that. I'll show an example in case you don't know what I mean a little bit later. But so those are the main things that you want to make sure you include, whether you're drawing it or you're going to use Comic Life or something else. And then also just, again, visual clues of, this is not necessarily foreshadowing, but, the dead plant here that's it's in the front there, they're in the background, and that's done on purpose to kind of give that mood, that tone, that dark feeling to this world where this plant is, dead and dying, and it kind of symbolizes the way this world is, that it's not very, a great place to live in and stuff like that. So, and again, you're going to want to be careful about how the color that you choose for your graphic novel. That'll be very important. With Comic Life, it'll be very easy to manipulate the colors in the background, the pictures, the slides, and stuff like that. Because if you notice here, it's all grayish blue and white and dark, and so kind of it fits the mood of the story that it's this darker blue, gray, white, dark, all mixed together. It's kind of like, it's this darker colors. There's no real happy colors here. So you want to be aware of that when you're drawing it and when you're using Comic Life or whatever else, that you want the color that you're drawing or the images that you're using in the background of your graphic novel to be consistent with the tone and mood of your story as well. So make sure you keep that in mind, because I will definitely count that as part of your grade as well. So I'll end this part with this. So I'll come back with another video for some more.